I'm such a broadcasting expert. Let's try that one again as we start the show. Hello and welcome to the Lee Judges TV Magic Open Mic postgame show. I am your host, Magic Mike. Nothing really that magic about me, but when Kevin Campbell gives you a nickname and it sticks, you don't turn it down. So this is the fifth open mic show that we've done, and the first time we have won. So it's going to be a happy show today as far as I'm concerned. Because it's an open mic show, we don't prep. We don't, we prep. I prepare. But we're not going to dictate what your reactions are, what your emotions are. So we're going to go through the game a little bit. I'm going to review what I saw in the game today, and then you're going to tell me what you saw. That's how it works. If you want to join in, you can join what I call the Red Room backstage by going to GoonerOpenMic.com. The link is in the scroll at the bottom of the screen. And the rule on the open mic show is if you haven't been on before, if you are coming on for the first time, in other words, if you're doing this and breaking your duck, you cut to the front of the line or near it. So there's plenty of spots open in the chat and in the back. So go to GoonerOpenMic.com. It'll be relieving. Don't be nervous. Just come on screen, have your say. I'll take good care of you. I'll handle you very, very gently. I'm a soft, cuddly person. So today we won. It was an 18-day break, and I can't remember, and I've been watching this club a long time, other than COVID and summertime, I cannot remember a break between games that was longer than 18 days, and I'm not, even after Hillsborough, which is when I was actually living over in England. We played on the 15th against Newcastle, the day of Hillsborough, and then our next game was on the 1st of May against Norwich, so that was 16 days. So you kind of had to wonder what we were going to see when this show started, when this game started. So I've kind of forgotten who plays for us. It's been it feels like 2 months since we've played. We hadn't scored a goal in 40 days. But I'm friggin' chuffed, man. I mean, look, I'm not saying this was a perfect game. It was far from it. We definitely got away with one today. But when we work hard and we dig, and we fight to get away with one, I'm much more happy about it than if we just absolutely crap the bed against a bad team and luck into a victory. So 3 valuable points away from home. I'm going to take some joy in it. Like we said, there are some things to be concerned about. We can talk about those today if you want. It wasn't a perfect performance. Frankly, it was pretty crap offensively. We were at panic stations at times defensively, but a clean sheet victory nonetheless. And we've only beaten Wolves twice since they've come back up to the Premier League, and that's 7 games against them. So it isn't exactly the easiest team for us. And since they started the season almost as badly as we did, they lost their first 3 without scoring a goal as well. They lost 4 out of their first 5. And in there, they lost some games at Molineux. But since then, they've only lost 1 game since September, and that was against Liverpool. And so it's not an achievement to brush off winning away to Wolves. But I want to hear what you have to say. So here's my quick 5-minute recap. We're going to do this. This will give you some talking points if you want. If you want to talk about your own things, that's cool as well. Starting 11, really the only 2 notable things was ESR still on the bench. We've seen that before. He seems to be getting used more as a super sub these days, which, you may see as a problem. You may not see as a problem. I also think he'll start the next game, given what happened to Gabriel Martinelli a little bit later on. Cedric instead of Tomiyasu, definite downgrade in quality on paper, but was it today? Love to hear your thoughts on Cedric's game. I'm hearing a lot of positive things in the Gooner sphere about Cedric tonight. Gabriel's goal, Lacazette gets in there, does a little bit of dirty work. Wolves protest like the whining, complaining, annoying Wolves that they are, but it stands. And Granit Xhaka, key header on defense in the first half. You can't fault him for that, but really was playing with fire with his challenges. I wasn't too confident he was going to make it through the game. Probably could have had as many as 2 yellow cards in the first half. And between him and Partey at halftime, I was positive we were not going to finish with 11 men, which I was right about, but I had the wrong guy getting sent off. So Martinelli, moment of madness, 2 yellow cards in 3 seconds, pretty much. Again, that's going to put either ESR or Pepe, as Matt says, into an easy start again in the next league game. I think there's a lot of debate about this. I think a referee can do that. It's been said that the referee can't yellow card a guy until he's shown the first yellow card, and I just don't think that's possible, because if that were the case, if you held a guy back and they played advantage, you could then just turn around and punch him in the face, apparently, and face no further discipline. So I do have the rule from the FA on that, and it's still kind of not all that clear. The FA needs to clean up its rule book because it's hard to understand, but I'll put that up a little bit later on. A goal right after that offside by Wolves. They had about 6 or 7 guys offside, but that was a bit sketchy. A very, very scary moment for Arsenal. And then we got to talk about Lacazette. With all this talk about bringing in another striker, Lacazette gets an amazing pass from Gabriel in on goal by himself and can't curl it enough. A striker scores that goal, in my opinion. It's not an easy skill. You have to bend it, or you have to perfectly chip it. But a striker scores that goal, and Lacazette didn't. Ramsdale, how do you think he did today? I thought he was fantastic. Maybe co-man of the match for me, but we'll find out your thoughts on that. And pretty much, Gabriel. My final moment of this game was an injury time. Gabriel takes a shot on the face, goes down, and perhaps the most surprising twist of a game full of twists, all of his teeth stayed in. I mean, I've never seen Gabriel. Anyone who's come within 5 feet of Gabriel, all of his teeth just fall to the ground, and somehow he kept it in there. So, and the last thing I want to say before we start going to the open micers is the away support today. Once again, amazing. I'm proud to know a good number of people who go home and away, and we're in that crowd today. And you could be heard loud and clear all the way from the United States of America, Australia, Madagascar, and let's say Kyrgyzstan. Loud and clear. Absolutely loved it. So here's the league table as it stands right now. We finally took advantage of some teams below us actually dropping, or teams above us dropping points. If I could get the actual league table up here, that would be nice. I think I've uploaded it. We are now in 5th place, firmly ahead of Spurs, without even needing the game, without them having a game in hand at this point. We're ahead of United on goal difference, but again, we have a game in hand on them. We're behind West Ham by 1, but we've got 6 potential points in hand there if we can grab them. And look, 4th place is every bit on the line as far as I'm concerned. And wouldn't it be a shock if we can actually pull that off this season? So here we go. Quick shout out to the chat. If you're in the chat, I'd love to see you in the green room. But shout out to Anthony, who's in here, Ryan and Alyssa from Detroit, who are masterfully having 2 shows on at once right now. We got who else we got here? We've got E. Ross, Felipe, Anthony, Jared's in the house. My co-host who's busy today, but he's in the house. Dublin Gooner, John, you're here. Felipe, LP, PD Pew Pew. I think you came up with that name just to make me say something that I probably haven't said since my kids were in diapers. But I appreciate you giving me the big up. Matt Kearney. And again, if you're in the chat, would love to see you join us backstage, GoonerOpenMic.com. And first, and breaking his duck on the open mic show, we have Mr. Darcy, who I believe is one of my fellow Yanks calling from Kentucky. Is that right?
That's right. Hello, everybody. I'm Mr. Darcy. Pleased to meet you, all you Gooners out there. Let's go, Gunners. Woo! All I can say is I can now breathe.
Yeah, that was 90 minutes of clenching various portholes in our body, of probably not breathing. Like if there was a guy or a woman with COVID that was standing like 3 inches from me during that game, I wouldn't have caught it, because I think you have to breathe in order to.
Well,
that's actually not true.
I'll be having a mask on if I ever go. I mean, if I wanted to go to games like now, but it's like, okay, so like I was watching down my basement. Like I was at work when the game was going on, so I had to go straight home from work and then go straight to the game. And then like when I had to stop by the bank for some odd reason, and all of a sudden Gabrielle scales a goal, and I was like, yes.
All right. So what we learned from that is you have to go to the bank. You just go in and out of the bank every single time Arsenal are playing, and that screws us when we play on Sunday. I understand that, but you got to go to the bank more often.
Yeah, I may have to go to the bank. Yeah, just spend some money. Spend all that money. Woo!
So Mr. Darcy says he's nervous to come on the show, and he's a better host than I am at this point. He comes prepared with props. So that's fantastic. So whereabouts in Kentucky are you?
I am from Lexington, Kentucky, Big Blue Nation, right there.
Lexington. My aunt lives in Lexington, actually.
In fact, we're about to start a soccer team up there in a couple of years.
All right. Well, it's a beautiful part of the country.
Thank you.
With the exception of your senators, but we'll not get into politics.
Okay.
So we went over the game today a little bit. Just my quick recap. Is there a specific area that, other than just woohoo, that you want to talk about?
I had a few points. Everybody, I mean, people have been talking about Partey. Partey's been, kind of like crap, but this time he did good. He did what he needed to do, understand the assignment of what's been going on. Xhaka did the same thing, but like we always have a little bit of problem with Xhaka because it feels like every game it's like, oh, we're gonna have a red card, because I felt that it was going to happen again, and Lord knows what happened. It just happened, but this time it was Martinelli. But my concern was the midfield. My concern was always the midfield, because they always tend to make mistakes all the time. And when we had the back four with Cedric, Gabby, White, and I forgot the other person.
Tierney. And frankly, Tierney's game today was a bit forgettable as far as I'm concerned. I mean, if you had to rank the players 1 to 11 today, and I hate to do this and ask who your bottom player would be, because I'm a fairly positive guy. I don't like focusing on the negative, but I might have put Tierney in there with Lacazette, but
maybe in the low fours or something like that. But
yeah,
Tierney, but not that much going on the Tierney side. But he got the hustle going, and that kind of worked. And when you have Tierney in and getting ready for the shot, he's ready to go. He's ready to go. But I give Martinelli a little bit of credit, because I'm going to give, maybe if I had a rating, it would be a 5, because of the fact he helped with the scoring goal, being in the corner. Yeah, I expect Martinelli to do some more of that, So you have him on that side, but the other side you either have Odegaard or Pepe when it comes to it.
Yeah, and so let's talk about Martinelli's situation a little bit, because I've had a bi-show, not bi-coastal, but in 2 different shows I've been talking with Anthony, and because he won't come to GoonerOpenMic.com and talk to me himself, maybe he can't at the moment. We're gonna try to answer Matt D'Souza's question about what the law is. Was he correct in the way he applied the law for 2 yellows? Now, my initial thought, and I have the rule clipped, and I'm going to bring it up on screen in a second, what I think is the rule. My initial thought was, what else is he supposed to do? I mean, you never see a guy wave play on and raise the yellow, and you don't do that. The first instinct is to wave the play on if the play is still viable, and then go back and address the play. You rarely see that same player commit a second foul, so you don't see it very often. But if there was a rule that the first yellow had to be displayed before the second yellow could be given, or the foul that causes the second yellow could be given, then the person's got carte blanche to. I mean, Martinelli could have just walked over to the bench and punched out, Wolves' coach and gotten away with it. So, I mean, theoretically speaking, I can't imagine what else Oliver was supposed to do, assuming both offenses were yellow card worthy.
Oliver is going to be when it comes to crap housery, or they would say it's cards are going to fly out regardless of what's going to happen, even with the long waits, even with certain types of calls. I see this a lot from the certain games I will watch every once in a while with Michael Oliver, and Michael Oliver is just like, if he's gonna rough this game, then we're expecting a red card. Well, we're expecting these cards. It's nonstop. You can, like, even a simple touch penalty, like just touching like a pencil, it's going to be a foul. It's going to be a penalty.
It's really anybody who works for PGMOL, and unfortunately, the only people that are permitted to referee Premier League games are people that work for PGMOL. So here's the rule. First of all, the thing didn't format correctly, so you might not be able to actually see the bottom of it, which is the most important part. When two separate cautionable offenses are committed, even in close proximity, they should result in two cautions. For example, if a player enters the field of play without the required permission and commits a reckless tackle or stops a promising foul. There's a second part that I saw, and frankly, that wasn't it. So I'm gonna, if you can find it, there's another one about if the second foul stops a goal scoring opportunity, it shouldn't be called a yellow card, and that is the one that I think is written really questionably. This one seems pretty clear. If there's two offenses in close proximity, they should result in two cautions. Again, normally you would see the yellow go up. For example, if someone gets a yellow card and then 2 seconds later they get another yellow card for calling the ref a see you next Tuesday, you'll see the yellow card and then you'll see the other yellow card. But I really don't know what Oliver is supposed to do. So again, if you can find the rule that does that and prevents that, I'd love to hear it and see it. So post it in the chat. So
yeah, please do, because like that would lead to some meetings. I know that for sure, because like right now Martinelli may not play Brentford come in February.
Well, I mean, unless there's some sort of an overturn, we never get anything overturned by the FA, so he won't be playing against Brentford. The good news about that is I think it'll give ESR some time. So
yeah.
So Mr. Are we not allowed to know your first name, Mr. Darcy?
No, my name is Darcy, but
okay. Darcy. All right, I
it's fine.
Is it okay that we have Mrs. Darcy in the green room as well?
I'm sorry, I'm not happily married or have a relationship. Thank you very much.
Well, I was talking about your mom. No, I'm just kidding. I would never talk about the mother of someone I just met. All right, so we're gonna move on. We have we have another duck breaker in the room, but he's got to come on camera. So Felipe, if you want to join us, you gotta turn your camera on. But thank you for joining us, Mr. Darcy from
I appreciate it. I hope we do this again sometimes, because like oh yeah, by the way, big ups to Cedric. You're doing great. I was having second thoughts at first, and I'm now like, thank you, Cedric, for helping us out even with 10 men.
Well, he was everyone's concern. I mean, he's the weak point. He's the biggest drop off probably from a starter to, other than in midfield where the drop off is just a big empty space.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he really brought it today. Maybe a bit of a rough start, but he really brought it today when we needed it, and kept us in the game and kept the clean sheet. So
all right, thanks, Mike.
Thank you so much. Join us again at Gooner Open Mic after the next game.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, man. Take care. All right. So we are going to bring on Daniel because Felipe's camera is not on. But looking for more people to join us at GoonerOpenMic.com. Daniel, my friend. Fine. I think we've done this multiple times after losses, but I don't know if we've gotten one after a win. So are you happy?
Yeah. I broke my wind duct on here.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think you actually. Yeah. I think the pause was because you were waiting for me to do this. So I will. Grant.
No. Oh yeah. No, it's fine. Yeah. What a result, man! What a result. Oh wait. Hang on. I can't. hear you for some reason.
No, that's okay.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair enough.
1-0 away to Wolves, always a good result. I don't care.
Yeah,
Honestly, I
definitely.
don't care who we're playing away to, unless it's
Yeah,
Scunthorpe.
like back on the Martinelli sending off. I think it. I mean, if the ref pulls it back, then yeah, he doesn't get the chance to get the second caution, which then leads to him being sent off. But for me, they were both like bookable offences,
Yeah, I mean, I
and
don't see how you could say that either one of them wasn't bookable. The thing on the
yeah,
sideline, I mean, if he interferes with the throw, okay,
yeah,
fine. That's pretty nitpicky. But I mean, he pushed the guy down after that.
yeah, yeah, and I was like, oh, like just like, and same with Gabrielle, and I was like, just like keep calm, but then he went and done the second one, and then and then obviously we all feared the worst, like, and would fall apart. But no, what a defensive masterclass that was.
Yeah, and it's weird because again, I'm no tactical genius, but a defensive
Yeah.
masterclass, I'm not sure, because we really just kind of seem, like I said before.
We grounded it out.
Yeah, yes. I mean, the result is the masterclass, but at times we
Yeah.
seem to just really be kind of grasping
Yeah.
and want sixes and sevens. But that's what makes it kind of more beautiful in hindsight. Our
Yeah.
full, our probably our best defender, our best fullback, Tierney, had kind of an off game. Cedric stepped up and helped him out. Gabriel was amazing on both sides of the pitch, and Ramsdale. I mean, to me, it's
Ramsdale
hard
for me. No. Carry on, mate. No, sorry,
I'm
I didn't
just
mean
going to
to.
say I don't know how you really pick between Gabby and Ramsdale for man of the match. I mean, Ramsdale's second half specifically.
I mean, maybe because he scored, I will give it to Gabriel, but Ramsdale does deserve a huge honourable mention for man of the match. But there's one player that we haven't discussed or hasn't been discussed yet, and that's Pepe.
Okay. Part of the reason we haven't discussed him is because he didn't play today, but I think it's a valid thing to question. Okay, why is he not one of the first three people off the bench? Was it situational? Was it the fact that we were protecting the lead with 10 men?
I just want to know what he's done wrong. I just want to know what he's done wrong, because every time I see Nketiah, I groan.
Yeah.
And I don't want to feel that way about any player, but it's just Nketiah. I'm not saying that Pepe would have come on and changed the game at all. That's hindsight, but I would like to see Pepe given the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean.
My guess is that Arteta really, really, really values practice, training. And I'm defaulting to that because what we get to see, which is their match play, and we get to see them sometimes play more in Pepe's case and El Neni's case and so on. We get to see them play more when they're with their national teams than when they're with us. You just don't necessarily see a reason for it. There must be something about the way Pepe trains and something about the way Eddie trains in the opposite.
Maybe,
because I can't explain it any other way, Daniel.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously we can we can only see like what we see on the pitch and the few YouTube clips that they put out, like of them training and doing like the odd few good bits here and there. But yeah, it's just that like I want to see Pepe play, like, but yeah, like it could be down to attitude, like in training.
I mean,
But,
I just it's strange because you've almost never heard Pepe say anything. You've never seen. I mean,
yeah,
does he post on social media? I don't go on Instagram very much, but I don't really know much about the personality of the player. So it is hard to understand how.
And like because we have, well, if Laka gets injured, West like and that leaves us with and Ketia, like how we handled the whole transfer window was just well crap. Like we crapped the bed. Like because we spent 3 weeks chasing a deal that was never going to happen in Vlahovic or whatever his name is.
Do you know that we spent 3 weeks doing that, or did they spend a few days doing that, and we spent a few weeks talking about it and hoping for it, and listening to ITK saying that it was that it was
well. Regardless, we should have done more, like in finding someone else, because like we're struggling in two key positions, centre mid and up front. And the fact that we didn't get anyone at all apart from this keeper that we're going to get in the summer, but apparently we were trying to chase 5 strikers on a deadline day, but like all the clubs said like no, because like you've waited until today to talk to.
Yeah, and they can't bring in a replacement. See, my fault with the transfer window, and then we're going to move on to Felipe. My thought on the transfer window is it is a bit shocking that we didn't bring anybody in that can help us in the second half of this season. But I'm also happy that they didn't chase after bad deals. They didn't spend too much to trigger a release clause for a player that might not have been the first or even second target. We don't know.
It's all like hindsight.
I look at the position our payroll is in for the next couple of years, and games are not won and lost on payroll, and the vast majority of Arsenal supporters don't care about our payroll. They care about wins. But it puts us in a position where I can only imagine there's going to be a big summer coming. The thing that I don't get comes from scouting. And to me, it seems like they may have had their eye on 4 or 5 players with prices in mind that they wanted to pay. And when those did not happen, they just basically said, okay, well, then we'll stand pat with what we have. And I think there's a big difference between getting players we don't want and at big wages and being saddled with them and getting right back into the same situation that we've just gotten out of by shedding all this deadwood and paying people to leave. There's a big difference between that.
Yeah, I really hate that.
There's a big difference between that and saying, okay, there's Vlahovic. If we can't get him, there's Isak, but only if we pay 35 million or not 75 million. And then there's maybe 2 or 3 other strikers who aren't going to be our big name striker for the future, but maybe there's somebody playing in Amsterdam or in Italy at a lower level team.
Like just get someone in
to get onto the end of
for cover.
Yeah,
like it's mostly for cover. Like they don't have to be a world beater, but just get someone in for cover.
Yeah, and again, it's got to be the right person. But I think if you can't find the right person in the universe of football, with all the football, with the tens of thousands of football players on hundreds of football teams, then you're not looking deep enough. It isn't that you're so picky that you only have the right number of people, and if I can't get them, then fine. Because maybe they don't improve the people we have. Maybe we couldn't sign someone better than Pepe, and we couldn't find somebody better than Lacazette, in our opinion, and we didn't want to get hemmed down into a big haggling war over somebody. But you have to find the players, because I'm sure there's a player.
Yeah.
There's a player at Bari in Italy, or someone in the Greek league playing for Panathinaikos, someone who is going to do some good for us, that has some physical characteristics that we need, and wouldn't be expensive, to where if they're sitting on the bench not getting played next year, no big deal. But Daniel, last word, man of the match, is it Gabby?
Just ahead of Ramsdale, but to be fair, like, Ramsdale's a goalkeeper, so like he wouldn't really score a goal, but
I still back him to score a goal this season. I mean, I think it's going to happen. So
why not? Yeah, all right.
The only thing he has
Ramsdale. All right. Gabby is my man of the match. All right.
Good to see you. Fantastic to see you after a win, and I hope to see you next time, babe.
All right. Cheers.
Take care. All right. Next to join us, I believe, breaking his duck on the show, and thank you so much for your patience. Felipe, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, mate. How are you?
I am doing well. Where are you calling from?
Thanks for having us. San Diego, California.
All right. So it is 3:00 in the afternoon where you are.
That's right.
And probably absolutely beautiful outside.
Not bad. 70.
That's what is that? That's
on Celsius. Oh,
21 Celsius and sunny and okay. I already hate you, but we're going to continue to go. So, any specific area you'd like to talk about from today's game? Positive?
It's just I love to see the team perform the way they do and how cohesive they are. But I'm just tired of being stressed out all game, every game, right? Yeah. Why can't we finish the game with 11 men? I mean, there is an issue there, right? I mean, do we need to hire more sports psychologists to talk with the players? What is the matter?
Well, and I heard a really good point. I think it was from James on Highbury Squad postgame today. So much emphasis on discipline from Arteta. Non-negotiables, discipline, and then on the pitch we're like bumper cars. It's
control your emotions, and that can be managed, right? That can be taught. I know Gabby's inexperienced. He's a great player. He has such a bright future. But, I mean, especially for the 19, 20, 21-year-olds that might lose their temper a little, that needs to be managed by staff, by team staff, right? You see other sports, they have lots of professionals that work for the team that kind of manage these behaviors, right? I mean, we cannot. It's unacceptable that we find ourselves in a situation like that over and over and over. It's not sustainable. We want today, great, but it's just simply not sustainable.
It's not. It's certainly not sustainable with the shortage of depth that we have. I mean, look, no one can control injuries, but like you're saying, we should be able to control, ill-disciplined play. And I haven't been overly stressed or angry at players for too many of the red cards that we've gotten this season earlier on. But lately, I mean, Partey's red card against Liverpool, just dumb. Gabby's today, dumb. All of Xhaka's dumb. Lately the red cards have been ill-disciplined. And I don't know if it's one of these situations where like you overthink things, and again, maybe this is something that a sports psychologist could help work out. But when you kind of know that the referees are out to get you, and that you're not going to be given the same leeway that Sadio Mane is given, or Mario Sane, whatever it is.
Liverpool in general.
Liverpool and United in general. You're not going to be given the same leeway. So you're almost like, it's like when you try not to get hurt, you get hurt.
Yeah,
is it one of those type of things?
it's part of managing expectations, right? And that needs to be part of coaching, right? If you know that calls against Arsenal are commonplace and that we typically tend not to have good refereeing, then that needs to be part of the game plan and of the boss's management of his players. It's like, hey, be mindful that we keep getting these bad calls during the game. Therefore, try to manage your temper. So it needs to be part of the strategy.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know how. Like, if I were told that, it would then become the predominant thing I'm thinking about, and probably come at the expense of my footballing ability, which, in a normal situation, as you can tell, is just phenomenal. I walk around scoring goals all the time, but if you're in the chat, let's come backstage and join us. Go to GoonerOpenMic.com. We're here talking to Felipe. Mark's in the chat. We got Sebi in the chat. Sebi, get the hell on here.
So, what's your opinion with Lacazette? I mean, I love how he plays to the end, right? And he definitely
he
leaves
happy
everything.
about being pulled off today, did he?
He leaves everything there, but we need someone more clinical, up front. We can't be missing these opportunities. I mean, three specific chances that I recall. Gabi's run in the first half where Lacazette didn't go with him. That crossball from Cedric where I think he's too short if he wasn't there fast enough where he wasn't able to head it in. The shot that went right to Jose Za, right in the middle of and then that last one, right? That was, you need to put those balls in. Those 4 opportunities that and I love he's hard, but I definitely think it's kind of urgent to to have someone who's a bit more clinical when it comes time to put the ball in the net.
Well, and the one thing you can't say about Eddie Nketiah, with one notable exception in an Everton game, is that he's not clinical. As long as he's 4 feet from the goal when he gets the ball. I've said it on multiple podcasts. I think the total of the length of every goal that Nketiah scored for Arsenal's first team, when you line them up end to end, it's shorter than El Neni's shortest goal. But that's that aside. I think with Lacazette, since you asked, I think the situation with Lacazette is I think his skills are on the decline. I think his effort is still there. I think he is. He works hard. He's great with the young players on our club. He's a leader. He much more than Aubameyang deserved to be captain more than but he just wasn't going to be on the pitch that much. And it's going to be a nervy, just like this game, that last 20, 30 minutes was nervy. I think with Lacazette, it's going to be kind of a nervy next 16 games because I just don't know how much he's got left. I don't want to see Nketiah in there. And, the only other real option I've heard is Pepe as a false 9 or as an outright 9 or Martinelli down the middle when he's done with his suspension. So either way you do it, we are thin at striker. We're going to be thin at goals. I think we're going to have a lot of hopeful 1-0 victories. And we're going to need the likes of Odegaard, ESR, and Saka to have some end product.
Yeah, to step up. Yeah. And going back to the previous topic, is like it's a bit frustrating, right? To see that we didn't bring some talent to the bench because of this particular reason, right? We're a red card away, an injury away from really not having a full solid team. And I mean, we might be able to supplement with the academy folks, but
we don't want to be in a situation where we're away to Liverpool and we were forced to bring in Patino or Beereth or something like that. That's not the time to do that.
And you think about the contracts that I'm thinking about Saka, right? He's due to renew, or they're talking about renewing his contract.
They're talking about extending his contract. It's not. It's not.
That's right.
It's not about to expire at any point.
It's in 24, right?
Year or two, yeah.
It's in 24. But he wants Champions League time. And that's why I think it was short-sighted not to bring folks to help us, even if it's on loan or in the short-term scenario, to try to secure that top 4, right? Because kind of the situation with Vlahovic is folks are starting to look at Arsenal and thinking, We're not going to play in Europe. We don't want to go there, or we don't want to stay. Or even worse, we don't want to stay on the team because we're not going to have exposure to European football. And it's kind of sad, right? I mean, I love Arsenal to that, but I want to see him back in the Champions League. I mean, how many years have I screamed at the TV when they were playing Barcelona or Milan and beating them? And it's just that's lacking.
I can't wait to get killed by Bayern Munich again. I mean, I really need to look forward to that. Speaking of Lacazette, here's today's heat map, and I love looking at heat maps. And what we normally see is some version of this, and this was today's. Attacking to the left. Note the massive hole of any kind of presence in the middle of the pitch in the attacking end. I mean, my God. Normally it kind of comes together like a little circle closer to the goal because you've got the players making the runs to the byline and then cutting it back, so you've got kind of this O shape, but none of that today. We're just going up and down the sides and then getting dispossessed or crossing it into the middle to nobody. That big red spot right on top of Ramsdale's a bit of a worry. But again, clean sheet. So yeah, I mean, we have rarely seen Arsenal really play the ball through the middle and dominate down the middle. It's always this big, take it down the end, cross it in the middle. And, what would Giroud have done with this kind of a format? I mean, I can really imagine the goals he would have scored given, he wasn't the fastest guy, but he was always in the right spot and he knew how to head the ball.
Yeah. I mean, just to be completely honest, we're doing the best we can with the team we have. It's just we need a little more talent in certain areas. I mean, but he's playing the right system, I think. Whether Laka is center forward or someone else, I think we're playing the right system. He's been practicing with 10 men on the field because we're defending just like the game away at Liverpool, and this one, they clearly understand how to play with 10 men, which is also kind of worrying, right?
Almost seems that we play better with 10 men than with 11.
It's like it shouldn't be that should not be normal. Like the new
start
normal.
the 10 men, and then you can put the 11th on like if you need to. Like if you need the guy, put him on.
There you go.
And you can put him on and take him off, and put him on and take him off. Like there's no rule against that when it's the 11th guy, not the 12th. So I think we're starting to discover some great ideas. But Michael is in the green room. But if you want to come on, and I think you were maybe driving, so don't turn on your video and join us while you're driving. But pull over, and we'll have you on. We've got Mark in the chat who also misses getting battered by Bayern. We've got Daniel who was on just before you, and no nub. That sounds a bit alarming. I mean, not even a nub, just nothing at all. I mean, come on. And then Lone Star Londoner, tough game, clean sheet, big result. I agree, man. I mean, overall, on a scale from 0 to 10, because everybody except for one podcast that had people rate the transfer window from -10 to +10, which makes no sense at all. Thank you, Danny, for that idea. On a scale from 0 to 10, when you come away from it, I know you say relieved, but like, how do you feel about the win today? Like, how encouraged are you going into the next game, which is, I believe, a home game against Brentford?
Brentford next Saturday, yes. I feel great about how we play as a team. And I'm confident that we are going to, get some critical wins like this one. But because of the ongoing issues we've observed, whether it's red cards and injuries, I'm also concerned that something very little changes and we are screwed.
Yeah.
Right?
So it's really just, I mean, I think we can survive this red card from Martinelli. I think we just start the next game with either Smith Rowe or Pepe, and then the other one will probably get subbed in, assuming we're not forced into substitutions differently like we were today. I mean, I don't think Holding comes in for Saka in the 71st minute, if not for the red card. In fact, it was a response to the red card. So, yeah, I mean, we're what's it called when you kind of go by the seat of your pants? I mean, we're really kind of redlining it for the rest of the season.
Exactly.
But and if you get through it and you nip fourth, I think it's a master stroke, and then we bulk up over the summer. If you don't, then everyone's going to complain, and it just depends on who we would have signed, because if you put in backups, if your solution was playing Mainsley and Chambers, if your solution was signing somebody who was a 5 out of 10 just to have depth on the team that better than a U23 player, I would argue that we're not going to win those games against Chelsea and against Spurs and anyway. So
that's right.
It's a tough one. So here is we lost Michael on the. I hope he's okay, and that the car's okay. But here's our remaining games this season, and let me take that banner off so we can read it here. All right, so I have put these games in what I think is the order of toughest to easiest. This is not the schedule. This is not the order of the games. And some of these haven't even been the top 3 games. In fact, have not been put on the schedule after having been rescheduled. But I would argue, and tell me if you think any differently about these. Today's game was the 6th toughest out of the 17 games, and we've already, and that because it's included on there, and we got 3 points out of it already. So we don't need to win every single one of these games in order to get top 4. I'd love to, and I certainly don't want to. I don't want to take it easy and say, "Oh, we can afford to lose these as a free hit." But we take care of a handful of them in the top half, and
West Ham is critical.
Yeah,
West Ham, Spurs, United, those are critical. Brighton, man, they've been playing great lately. They occasionally
started off great. And then kind of fell off the pace a little bit.
I like how Newcastle play this week. I don't know if they're going to get any better than that, but
I put that a little higher up the list, mostly because by the time we play them, which is the second to last week of the season, they might be in a proper relegation battle. So that was more circumstantial than out of concern. And of course, they have strengthened their squad since the first half of the season.
Yeah. The Everton game, the first one, that still pisses me off. I hope we don't lose the second one.
I want them to win only because I want to stop seeing the stat that they've won one in their last 27,000 games, and we all know who that one was against. Thank you, Eddie. But that's just amazing. I mean, Rafa Benitez, what a shit show that was.
That was a bad call from management. Why would they even bring him in the first place?
Well, I mean, do you know? Do you go to the pub? Like, are you part of the San Diego supporters club?
I am, yes.
Okay. Did you know Nick Lellenberg, by the way? Just a quick.
Gosh, to tell you the truth, I haven't been many times because I live about 30, 40 minutes away from where they gather.
Well, he used to live there. He actually lives over here now, but in Virginia. But in any case, the reason I was asking that was, why was I asking that? What were we just talking about?
Everton, Rafa Benitez.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Rafa Benitez. You go to the pub, you talk to people, you get their opinion when when things were really dire over the last year, when you start seeing other players bringing in coaches, and Rafa Benitez was at the top of a lot of people's lists based on his experience, based on his pedigree, his attitude, and that's why I say, the grass is always greener on the other side. When you say, okay, Benitez will get this team playing better, I say maybe not. When you say Conte would get this team playing better, it's hard to argue with that. But would he be happy with the project? I don't think he's going to be at Tottenham very long, and that's my thing.
Or the supporters, right? I mean, I was thinking would Arsenal, had we not hired Arteta, or maybe would we bring Pochettino, right? That coached Tottenham for so long, and I was saying, no, that'd be nuts. He's a great coach. But it's kind of the same thing I'm thinking about Everton bringing in Benitez. He's a great coach. Of course he's a great coach, but I don't think it was a good fit. But anyways.
Yeah. No, including Wolves away. We played them away already. Yeah, I know. We just played them. That was why they were on there, because I was kind of pointing out that I thought that was in the top half of the difficulty table of games left. And if you kind of figure it out mathematically, I think to get fourth out of 48 remaining points, we probably need 39 or 40 of those 48. I'm not saying I'd be happy with dropping points to these teams, but if you win every game of the bottom 8 of those, and you split the games in the top 8, I think you get there. Maybe 36 to 48 points or 40 points. So, in any case, we're getting close to the end here. We're almost at an hour. We've got 55 people in the live chat and no one waiting. So if anyone wants to come in and have their final say, this is the time. You got about 2 minutes. Man of the match, Felipe.
I liked Gabriel. I like how he, sweats and bleeds for this team and saved that yellow card was silly. It was between him and Ramsdale for me. I just love his passion playing for Arsenal.
Gabby or Ramsdale? Or both?
No, Gabriel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you believe his teeth stayed in? I mean,
I know, hard to believe.
I said, if you weren't here at the beginning of the show, I mean, I think perhaps the most shocking thing of today's game wasn't the issue with regards to our play. It wasn't how we actually kept a clean sheet with all of that. It wasn't Gabby's red card. It wasn't Lacazette's miss. It was Gabriel's teeth staying in, because those things just pop out. They just pop out. He's a dentist. He's a dental implant special, an ortho, whatever, perio dream. So, by the way, Ryan and Alyssa, you need to come on the show sometime. Maybe not today, but you need to get your tuchuses over to GoonerOpenMic.com and join us because your opinions are sorely needed. So, in any case, this has been the Open Mic Show. We are going to actually tell you about something before you leave. Please stick around. You're going to want to be part of this if you haven't already donated. I run a charity called GoonersVersusCancer.com. You can see it at the top of the screen. We are kind of out of season right now, where we normally have a huge raffle, give away a bunch of great signed prizes and other prizes, game tickets, FaceTime with Perry Groves. We have 3 Arsenal superstars in Lee Dixon, in Kevin Campbell, and Alan Smith, who regularly donate shirts, signed shirts, personalized, and everybody's starting to get those and post them on Twitter right now. If you go to Gooners v Cancer on Twitter, you'll see people saying, hey, this arrived in the mail today. I'm thrilled. But right now we have just an absolutely insane prize that's available, and we're keeping it to a kind of limited number of entries. Each entry is a $25 donation to the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. You can have multiple entries if you want. We've seen some people donate 50, some donate 100, some 250. Again, it's up to you. It's all going to the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. We don't take a cent out of it because we never actually have that money in our hands. It's for a great cause. And here is what the raffle is for. And I'll talk about it a little bit afterwards. But you can have your hands on this, although I wouldn't touch it and get those fingerprints on it.
Arsenal comes streaming forward now, and surely that will be their last attack. Good ball by Dixon, finding Smith. But Thomas charging through the midfield. Thomas! It's up for grabs now! Thomas! Right at the end!
So that's the shirt. It is sitting here waiting to be to enter someone's arms and family and go up on someone's walls. It's something that was personally done by John Lukic, Lee Dixon, Alan Smith, and Michael Thomas as a huge favor to us. to help us raise what will be about $12,500 for Leukemia and Lymphoma Society by the time all is said and done. So get in there, go to goonersvcancer.com, and please donate. Appreciate your support. Before we sign off, we have a couple of comedians in the chat. I just want to recognize Athelston, who I believe is a Spurs fan, but one who is extremely interested in Arsenal podcasts. And I say that out of respect. I enjoy watching your contributions to the Highbury squad, and it's great to see you here. Periodontist is actually not the name that I was looking for. Periodontist help with the gums, I believe. So anyway, and just for you, Athelston, in case you are actually a Spurs fan, I do want to just remind you that your fellow Spurs fans do actually submit to ridiculous shaming. I don't know how I got this guy to do this, but I would never have done that if I was a Spurs fan. That's all I have to say. That was at the AEW event in Washington a couple of weeks ago. We also have some other tooth-related comments from Athelston. They do cut their teeth in that, and my favorite comment of the entire day from One Star Londoner: nothing dentured, nothing gained. So anyway, this has been a Arsenal podcast post-game show with an open mic twist. We've had a bunch of people break their ducks today. Felipe, I hope you'll come back and join us sometime. Just as a reminder, this is Lee Judges TV, so I'm kind of obligated to show you how much Lee enjoys this show. He's having a great time right now in Wolverhampton. This is how he kills his time. So please, again, join us after the next home game. We will be either directly after the game or somewhere up to an hour after the game. We'll let you know on Twitter. It all depends on the other post-game shows, because we want you to get your good content and then to come here and talk to us. So any final words, Felipe, before we go?
Thank you, mate.
Oh, those are nice final words. I really appreciate that.
Let's leave it in a good note.
Hey, let's do it. So, 3 big points. 4th place is still in sight. Got another 9 weeks before the next game, I think, something like that.
10 days, right? 9 days.
Let's instead of watching us play Chelsea on Saturday, let's watch them hopefully lose the Club World Cup, and
I know,
with a bad experience. So in any case, this has been Magic Mike with Felipe. Thanks to everybody that came on the show today, and we are